Hi, Lynda Love here, and this is my first in a series of videos I'm doing on HSP, or Highly Sensitive People. This was a term coined by author and psychologist Elaine Aron, and it describes me to a T. So I'm wondering if it describes you as well. And while I'm not a big fan of labels, I find that at times it can be very liberating because you realize that you're not really going crazy. There is a reason why you are the way you are, and there's lots of other people out there like you as well. And in fact, 15 to 20% of the population are considered HSP. So why did I decide to do this series of videos, and in particular, why today? I've just had an incredibly busy, frantic 2 weeks actually. And the last couple of days I've been thinking about how I'm going to recover and return to balance in my life and get my energy sorted to a level that I feel happy with. And as I went through the process in my head that I was going to take, I thought that there were probably plenty of other HSPs out there that might benefit from by going through some of the things that I want to do over the next few days to get my energy back. Preserving your energy as an HSP is essential, and you have to treat it as though your life depends on it, because in reality it actually does depend on it. You're not good to yourself or anyone when your energy is totally drained. And as a dating and relationship coach, I can add that element into the mix because I need to be at my best energy so that I can give to my clients all that they need from me. And you're not going to be able to nurture your relationships with your husband or children or your boyfriend or your friends or any family members in life when you are feeling over emotional and totally sapped of energy and just basically not coping with life in general and feeling overwhelmed. Everything's going great for a while, and then it's really easy to fall out of balance when you feel like there's too much stimulation going on around you. Ensuring that you take measures every day to preserve your energy and maintain your balance is paramount, obviously, but sometimes life just happens and you can't stick to your routine. Some of you may know that in a past life I was a mathematics teacher. In fact, I was a head teacher of mathematics, and it was a lot of responsibility, an incredibly busy job. But I still do casual teaching because, quite frankly, I enjoy it. I love working with kids, and in particular teenagers. The other thing that I wanted to mention here incidentally is that as a coach, I find that my highly sensitive person attributes actually are a gift, because it's very easy for me to identify with what my clients are going through, but on a very empathetic and compassionate level. I've been there, and even if I haven't, it's easy for me to put myself in your position and really feel what you've been going through. So for the last 2 weeks, the head teacher of maths at the school that I teach casually at was taking some time off to be with her daughter who was getting married. I was asked to come in and teach, but it's really interesting for me to observe the same pattern that presents itself for me. Well, I go in there with the best intentions and all the preparation under the sun, like preparing all of my healthy meals, taking lunch with me, doing what I can to make the transition to full-time work, even though it's only for 2 weeks, as smooth as possible. I am constantly amazed by how much that overstimulation affects me. And the pattern is the same every time. The first day I feel quite overwhelmed, but I'm coping. I come home, I do all the things that I need to do that night. But come day 2, on that night, I'm pretty much overwhelmed and not coping. It's not about being a weak person. It's just that in my usual day-to-day life now, as a dating and relationship coach, I have made a lot of time to make sure I get my exercise, eat my meals. If I'm ever feeling like things are too much, I just stop, I breathe, I can meditate at any time. You know, I've organized my life to be calm, happy, peaceful, measured. Then when I'm suddenly flung into a teaching environment, there's a lot of noise in the playground, there's people everywhere, and even in the classroom I've got 20 to 30 kids that I'm trying to communicate with, and you're very much in tune to all the energies that are going on in that room. If there's somebody at the back left-hand corner who's not coping with the work for whatever reason, you're picking up on it. And this is the thing with HSP, it's basically impossible to tune out. If you are someone who thrives on the busyness of everyday life and loves the feeling of having work piled onto you, you won't understand what I'm talking about. But if you're a highly sensitive person, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's not about being weak. It's not about being lazy. It's just about understanding and accepting that you're different. You feel things a lot more deeply. You take on subtle energies on a higher level than the other 80% of the population who don't take things on the way you do. Being an HSP is not a liability. It's actually a gift. You've just got to learn to see it that way. But why did I want to do this video? I wanted to talk you through the steps that I had been planning in my head for the last few days of my crazy week that I was going to take to get my balance back. Step 1 is get enough sleep. 8 hours. It's Sunday morning here, and it just so happened that daylight saving ended last night. So I was able to get my 8 hours, even though I happened to go out for dinner with the girls, which probably didn't help. I managed to get an extra hour in there because of daylight saving ending. So I got my 8 hours. And then the second thing that I did is I got out into nature. Before I did anything else, I got up and I went for a walk. Now today it's quite windy and woolly, and I fully intended, and actually I got set up out by the water there, but it was absolutely blowing a gale, so I gave up on that and I thought I'd come and sit in the car instead, which seems to be working better. I find it impossible to be stressed when I'm sitting by the ocean, and I know a lot of people find that when they're sitting near water. Step 3, take time on your own. Now I know when my son was young, I couldn't just say, well, see you later, I'm going for a walk. So I would take him with me. When he was really young, I'd put him in the pram and go for a walk. When he was older, I would take him bushwalking with me. I'd take him to the park, let him climb all over the kids' playground equipment while I just watched, observed, and just tried to zone out from the craziness that's going on in the world. Step 4 is to clear your mind and go easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Highly sensitive people tend to be really hard on themselves. They tend to be perfectionists and feel disappointed in themselves when they make a choice that they think should have been a better one. You don't have to work out everything today. Let it go. Thank your mind for piping in with all of those suggestions, but for now, you just need to zone out and think about nothing. Don't try and build Rome in a day. Just let all of those thoughts, all those plans you're trying to make, let them go and just be for the day. When you quiet your mind, you're giving your mind and your body the opportunity to heal. While you're feeling the anxiety and all of those hormones and adrenaline, and the adrenaline's pumping through your body's active. It's not giving the time for healing that it needs. And step 5 in the battle plan is to eat well. Eat a really healthy breakfast, plan to eat a healthy lunch, and plan to eat a healthy dinner. And look through your healthy menus. I have some really great menu plans that I always turn to in times like this when I need to get myself back on track, because food is everything. It's very powerful. If you don't eat well and you're dosing up on sugar, which I tend to do, and I have to admit I've been off sugar all year, but of course when you're low in energy, what do I reach for? It's something with sugar in it. And yep, at the time I get that stimulation and I feel better, but the consequences later always outweigh it. Now I can tell myself that as many times as I like, but it's going to happen. I'm not perfect. There are times where it's going to happen. But when I'm trying to get myself back on track, I just need to resist, because I understand that I'm not going to feel better by indulging in the sugars. And even though today I feel really not good at all. I feel, even though I had my 8 hours, I feel tired, I'm lethargic, my stomach isn't great. I'm probably at the biggest low that I would ever feel today, but I know that it's only going to last a day if I stay on track, and eating well is a really big part of that. If I nourish my body for the entire day, I know that when I wake up in the morning, because I've done it before, this is experience that's told me this, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to feel so much better, especially if I've got another 8 hours sleep tonight, which is my intention. I hope that was helpful. I would like to do many more videos on HSP, because there are many times in life that I notice I'm actually conscious of how being an HSP makes you different, but it's not something to feel inadequate about or think of it as a liability. It's actually a gift, and I want to share these kinds of things with you about being an HSP. Please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below if you would like. And until next time, thanks for listening. Bye for now.